Recently, a Middle Eastern newspaper just reported that Israel attacked Iranian nuclear sites, but no one confirmed it from both sides. But Israel is also doing cyber attacks. Let's just wonder if Israel really destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities in a strike in 2022. Let's start the video. Iran's relationship with Israel wasn't always so fraught. After Israel gained independence in 1948, the two nations developed ties for strategic and economic reasons. Both countries also had strong relations with the United States and opposed Soviet efforts to gain influence in the region. Iran became the biggest importer of Israeli arms, while Iran exported oil to Israel. Israel had a diplomatic mission in Tehran. Relations ruptured abruptly after the monarchy was ousted in 1979. Did this cause any bad blood between the two countries? Did Israel really destroy Iran's nuclear facilities? In today's video, we will find out these questions. So stay tuned till the end of the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. Israel's army simulated attacks on Iran. The warning by Defense Minister Benny Gantz over Iran manufacturing and installing 1,000 advanced centrifuge and the IDF drill simulating an attack on Iran expressed growing concerns in Jerusalem over the reported failure of the Vienna talks. Iran is attempting to manufacture and install 1,000 IR-6 advanced centrifuges for its nuclear development program, according to Defense Minister Benny Gantz. Addressing the conference at Reichman University on May 17th, Gantz said that Iran was placing the centrifuges in various locations, including a new building near the existing central enrichment facility in the central Iran town of Natanz. Iran stands just a few weeks away from accumulating fissile material that will be sufficient for a first bomb. It holds 60 kilograms of enriched material at 60%, produces metallic uranium at the enrichment level of 20%, and prevents the IAEA from accessing its facilities, he added. Israel has threatened military action to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities for years, but now the situation is more intense. Israel and Iran are pushing the boundaries of a long-running clandestine war that is increasingly spilling out of the shadows. IDF thinks that its airstrikes are enough to control Iran's arms purchase through Syria. According to news, Israel has threatened Iran with military action. The US states are responsible for the pause in talks between Tehran and world powers in Vienna aimed at reviving their 2015 nuclear deal. Experts say that Israel will take revenge by attacking with its atomic power. A war with Iran can put Israel in a destructive situation, but IDF thinks that it is beneficial for Israel's national security. Will Israel attack Iran's nuclear power? Israel does not believe that Iran's repeated assertions of its nuclear program is purely a peaceful civil one. Israel is convinced that Iran is secretly working towards developing a nuclear warhead, and it means to deliver it with a ballistic missile. IDF will report Israel as soon as its preparations to attack on Iran's nuclear facility is completed. Israel plans to attack the Natanz site because it is an easier target for the attack, unlike other sites like Fordo, which are difficult targets. Although Israel has used so-called bunker buster bombs to penetrate underground facilities, some of the weapons warehouses and factories have been dug deep into mountains and are reportedly resistant to Israeli raids, though repeated strikes have disrupted tunnels that have led to these underground facilities. It is also important to note that dozens of Iranian scientists and engineers have reportedly been sent to Syria to work in these armed industries, which not only involve missile development, but suspected chemical weapons as well. Experts think that Israel is taking time to attack Iran's nuclear program. Israel has enhanced its defense budget and system for a strike. Now, officials say that the attack is a retaliation to the previous airstrike made by Iranian drone factory last month secretly. And according to some officials, the Israeli intelligence operatives who launched the airstrike were based in Iraq. The tit-for-tat strikes represent an alarming escalation in the long-running shadow war between Israel and Iran, as both sides push the boundaries of a conflict that has also entangled the US and now Iraq. How does Israel want to curb the Iranian activities in Syria? The fact that Syria has been at war within its own borders for the past 10 years has tended to divert attention away from Israeli military actions there. The civil war opened the way for a huge influx of Iranian military advisors from the IRGC, working in concert with Iran's Lebanese allies, Hezbollah, to support the regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. In some cases, these IRGC forces have ventured within a short distance of the boundary with the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. After years of ambiguity, Israel is increasingly going public with its strikes on Syria. The Syrian civil war refers to the Iranian-Israelite standoff in and around Syria during the course of the Syrian conflict. With increasing Iranian involvement in Syria from 2011 onwards, the conflict shifted from a proxy war into a direct confrontation by early 2018. Israel has been particularly alarmed at Iran's supply of precision-guided rockets and missiles to its proxies within striking distance of Israelite cities, and it has carried out numerous airstrikes against these missile bases and supply lines in Syria, with little perceptible response from Iran. Israel did this to prevent the growling influence and entrapment of Iranian forces and its proxies throughout Syria. The last time Israel and Hezbollah were engaged in a direct military conflict across the Israeli-Lebanese border, both sides tried to avoid a full-scale confrontation. This situation has sometimes been referred to by analysts as strategic deterrence. For the most part, Iran and Hezbollah have responded only with occasional counterstrikes and refrained from major problems. Throughout the conflict, Israel has used military strikes and diplomacy to stop the flow of advanced weapons from Syrian and Iranian arsenals to the Lebanese Hezbollah and to keep Iranian and Hezbollah forces far from its border along the Golan Heights. These include over 100 airstrikes on weapons going to Hezbollah, attacks on Iranian arms production facilities, strikes on IRGC and Hezbollah officers in Syria, and an attack on an Iranian drone facility. Israel has also carried out airstrikes in Syria to disrupt weapons shipments to the Hezbollah group. That is a major problem for the Jewish state. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad allowed Iran to operate from his country. The Hezbollah forces in the border had problems with Israel. Meanwhile, the IDF wanted to conduct an action with considerable resources to counter the Gaza Strip and fly the Palestinians to the West Bank. Why are Iran and Israel at odds with each other? Iranian forces are now establishing themselves in Syria, and by the scale and scope of its strikes on Wednesday night, Israel is saying that enough is enough. Effectively, these Iranian forces are a long way from home and should go back to Tehran. Israel sees Iran as a threat to its existence and has always said that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Its leaders are worried by the expansion of Iran in the Middle East. For Iran, the missile strike in Erbil, Iraq, reflects both a more aggressive policy of responding to Israeli attacks and a more overt one. Unlike most previous attacks attributed to Iran, not one of its proxies, immediately claimed responsibility for this one, a sign of confidence that it can do so with impunity. Iran's use of ballistic missiles instead of rockets or drones was also a serious escalation. So that's why Israel thinks Iran is secretly developing missiles. Israel considers Iran an existential threat who intends to eliminate the Jewish state. Iran endorsed Palestinian state and does not recognize Israel as a valid state. Israel developed a relationship with the Middle Eastern countries that provide strategic depth in the region. The underlying theme of this shadow war is brinkmanship. Neither side can afford to look weak, but both Iran and Israel know they need to carefully calibrate their actions so as not to trigger an all-out war. On the nuclear side, it is clear that Israeli intelligence has been able to penetrate Iranian security to an astounding degree, deploying both human agents on the ground and cyber weapons to overcome Iranian countermeasures. Having said that, as we near the end of this video, we would like to thank you all for sticking with us. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to never miss our videos. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace until then.